Hey everybody, so today I'm here to review the Elvie Stride breast pump with you guys. So today I'm just going to be reviewing it. If you're interested in what comes in the box, what's all included when you get the Elvie Stride, I will have the unboxing video linked down below for you guys. And I also want to say thank you for your time and your patience. It has just taken me a little bit longer than it usually does. Normally I do use the pump for a whole month and then I get back to you guys relatively quickly, but with the holiday season and everything, I just kept pushing this. So thank you so much. Let's go ahead and get into the review. I do have just my usual review points and then just a couple other extra things to talk about, and then at the very end I will give my thoughts and opinions about it. So first off is price. So this pump retails for $200. However, it is meant to be an insurance pump, so it's hard to find. I will link it if I can find it somewhere down below. It's probably not going to be on a traditional website like Amazon or Target or somewhere like that. It's probably going to be at smaller medical shops that are selling it. I personally bought mine from the FSA store. It's like an online website where you can use your FSA money, and that's where my husband had found it at, so that's where I bought it from, and that worked out perfectly fine. However, I don't believe it's been back in stock there, so I will try to keep the links updated. I'm not sure if that has something to do with the supply chain struggle that we're having right now, or if that's just something that it's not a lot of places because it is supposed to be an insurance pump. But regardless, the goal of this is to be a more affordable wearable pump that you can get through your insurance. So I'll link you to wherever I can in case you have to pay for it out of pocket. And then I'll also link you to Aeroflow. I use them with my youngest and my middle daughter to get my breast pump. It was so easy. I have used it myself. I highly recommend it. So I'll link those down below for you guys. The next one is function and ease of use. It is very easy. It's really straightforward. It does have an app where you can also control it as well. But on the pump itself, you have the power button right up here. And then you have the modes button. This is increase and decrease down here. And then this is a pause, like a stop and start button basically. So it's really straightforward. You know, you just have your two modes available, your increase or decrease, and then a pause, start, stop, whatever you want to call it kind of button. While there are a considerable amount of settings, there's not a ton of different features, so it's not really hard to learn at all. As far as the reviews with this, it is really new, and like I said, it's hard to find it to buy out of pocket right now, so honestly, I've not been able to find anywhere that has any reviews. Hopefully that'll change in the future. I'm sure in places like Aeroflow and stuff, that'll also change because they typically have reviews over there as well. Even if they're insurance pumps, people go back and review them. And then as far as portability and power options, it's obviously meant to be a rechargeable battery, so there is that. And then as far as accessibility to replacement and spare parts, right now, again, it's just really tricky. It comes with a size 24 millimeter, and typically I'm a 21. However, I could not find the 21 shields for the life of me. I think they might be only available on Elvie's website, and I didn't realize that until I was already kind of a couple weeks in, so it didn't really matter at that point because it was working for me with just the 24s. So it's a little hard to get your hands on right now, but I would expect as this becomes a more common pump, you're going to be able to find it in the traditional spots like Amazon and stuff like that, because with the other Elvie pump that I have, I was able to get shields that I needed to fit me on Amazon, no problem. So I feel like it's just a matter of time, and it's just because this thing's newer right now. As far as customer service, it was good. I didn't have any issues. Number 7 is durability. I did not notice any kind of lifespan mentioned in the manual. You can correct me if I overlooked something. And again, this does not mean that your pump will automatically stop at whatever time point that they mention. However, I feel like it is a vote of confidence with the consumer to be able to trust that their machine will do what it needs to do for as long as they need it. So there's that, and it has no problem keeping up with me. So I haven't noticed anything myself. And then as far as noise level, the vibration on this thing is actually louder than the pump noises itself, but neither one of them are super loud. I would say it's on the lower, medium low kind of level as far as sound goes. And also, if you did actually have it tucked down inside your shirt, maybe also that has a tank top underneath of it, and then also the bra, it might not even make that much sound. However, I typically just wear one shirt and a bra, so for me, I could still hear it, but Otherwise, if you have quite a few layers under there, and also depending on where you're pumping, you know, if we have the TV on, you couldn't hear this whatsoever. So if you work in an office or something like that, I doubt you would be able to hear that in this kind of setting. And then the last two things, it is a closed system pump. There is, to my understanding, no real way for milk to back up into this just because of how it's designed. So here is the shell itself, and then this is your tubing that you actually put on the back of here. And I just don't understand or see a way that milk would be able to reach outside of here from inside this reservoir. So I feel like this is one of the most secure closed system pumps. I mean, I have never had a problem with a single closed pump ever actually bypassing that and getting milk back to the motor. But this one I would find especially hard, and I don't know. It just feels like the most foolproof one that I've ever seen because of the mechanisms that it has. But yes, it is closed system. And then lastly, it does have the two different modes on it. There is stimulation that's going to stimulate your breast to start milk flow, and then expression to really draw out milk and express you to the point where you're pretty much empty. So it does have those two modes available. And then as far as bonus stuff with this pump goes, obviously it's meant to be a wearable pump. So it does have a clip on it. There's also a case as well, and you are able to clip this on stuff. I was kind of worried that it would just kind of fall off because it's just kind of barely on there, but I've had no problem with clipping it on my clothes, in my bra, or wherever. But honestly, just being real, most of the time it just gets stuck down between my boobs. That's what I was doing. So yeah, there's that. Anyways, like I mentioned, it does also come with an app, and you can track and log and control stuff in there as well. So that's pretty much it about the pump itself. And now I'm just going to go ahead into my thoughts and opinions. So honestly, whenever I was trying this pump out, I didn't know how to feel about it. I do have the traditional Elvie, and I've never made a review on that, and I don't want this to be a comparison, but I haven't made a review on it just because I need to use it again. I'm not sure how I feel about it, and obviously that matters in my review. So I have been taking my time with it, and because I wasn't sure how I felt about the traditional one, I didn't know how I would feel about this one, and I was pleasantly surprised, honestly. I did not expect a lot out of this. It is really small. It's really tiny. As you can see, it fits in the palm of my hand. As far as the different modes that it offers and the different settings, I've had no problem finding something for me. I do feel like whether you're in stimulation or expression mode, the frequency on it is on the higher end, which is appealing to me. That's what I need. I do feel like most people would not have a problem with finding a setting that would work for them, because there are quite a few different suction levels, and with the modes, I have found both of them comfortable. There is a 2-minute timer on the stimulation mode, so after 2 minutes it'll kick you over into expression mode, and typically I don't really enjoy that because I just would rather pick rather than having a timer on it when and if I need to go into expression mode. There's no wrong way to pump. If you respond the best to be in expression the whole time, or stay in stimulation, or have whatever kind of pattern works for you, as long as you're expressing milk and you're not causing your nipples any trauma, it's all good. So I really like to be able to make that decision. However, because the frequency is high enough in expression, it doesn't matter too much to me. Still wish the timer wasn't there, but nothing can be perfect. So there is that, and I had absolutely no problem, like I said, finding a setting for me. And the suction was actually really surprising to me. It was very gentle, but it definitely had a lot of options, and I was about halfway when it came to suction, and I did not have to go on the upper levels at all to find something that worked for me, but they are there if you do need something with more suction. So I feel like whether you're somebody who needs less or more, you're going to be able to find something here. And all around, I was just pleasantly surprised with the feeling. It was really gentle. I feel like with a lot of the wearable pumps, I don't know why, but I just don't find these as comfortable as traditional phalanges. However, doesn't seem to be a problem here. I guess I should have mentioned at some point, these different gray lines you might see are to help you to align your nipple, so you're able to look and be able to align it correctly. And like I mentioned earlier, I wasn't able to get my hands on the 21 millimeters that I probably would have typically bought. However, the 24s worked for me, and I don't really say that often at all. I typically just stick with my 21s. However, the 24s worked just fine, and I was able to use those comfortably without issue. pumping all the way through. And yeah, I just all around was really impressed by this because it had a great amount of suction. While I do feel like the suction was pretty gentle, it didn't have a ton of vibration behind it, which I personally prefer. There was a little bit, but not a whole lot, and I found it to be very comfortable. I had no problem using it. I had no problem pouring my milk out or anything like that, and it's pretty straightforward. As far as wearable pumps go, I feel like this is one of the most streamlined. I feel like they can get really complicated pretty quickly, especially if it's like a reusable container like this is, because this is where your milk's going to collect and you would pour it into a bag or a bottle, whatever you want. And I feel like this is just really straightforward. So there's two pieces and you pull them apart and then you've got here. And there is like a diaphragm membrane type thing right here. And there's also a valve, but that's it. There's not a ton of little pieces. There's not a ton of different connecting things. And this is where you just put it back together. And I was really curious how well that this would not leak because it really is just like kind of a suction seal and that's it. And there's also a pour spout up top. So that is where you pour from. But I do like the fact that it opens up like that so you can really get into every nook and cranny. It really feels like they thought a lot about the design and I really appreciate that. With it being a reusable container, you just want to be able to clean all the nooks and crannies so nothing gets gross or a buildup on it. But anyways, back to what I was saying, I was worried about it leaking and I had no issues with it whatsoever. I wanted to actually show you because I figured I would probably get the question of like how much can you bend around with it. Like I've said with my other wearable pumps, I have tested it for you guys. However, I don't use that regularly. Most of the time I'm just sitting down in my home. I am a work at home mom, so I don't have a lot of bending and stuff to do while I'm pumping. However, I filled this up with water so you guys could see it for yourself. So let me move the pump so I don't spill any water on it. But I wanted to show you, I actually have it filled up to the max over here. It does say 5 ounces. So when it's at 5 ounces, you are able to tip 90 degrees and it's not going to leak. There is a little venting hole. This is the only place it has ever leaked for me because obviously it's a venting hole. It's going to leak. But you can see I'm 90 degrees and nothing is spilling out at all. Now, I will say the less you have in here, the more you are obviously going to be able to bend even further. But even when you do bend, I want to make sure that the seal is completely fine. But even when you do bend completely over, I want to show it's not like a quick pour. You know, you do have some time. And as you could see, I had to bend it all the way over like this. So you would have to be in a downward facing position, which I feel like most people, when you're wearing a wearable pump, you're just kind of conscious about that. And you're aware that you can't just be bending completely over unless you have a pump that accommodates that. But something like this, I was really impressed to see that you could be 90 degrees, which is bent over pretty good and still not leak. And everything up until then, I had no problem tipping from side to side like this or whatever. So no leaking issues at all around here. And as far as pouring, obviously it's really simple. It's really easy. All around, I was really impressed with this pump. I was kind of wondering how much I would like it. And I don't know, guys. I feel like this might be my favorite one yet. Can't believe I'm saying that. Obviously, this has tubes, which isn't to be said with some other models. However, like I said, this is supposed to be a insurance pump, which means that hopefully it would be fully covered by your insurance. And also, it is way more cost efficient to have a double pump. With this, it's $200 out of pocket. So if it was fully covered by insurance or even partially, if it's an upgrade where it's only like $50, I would definitely say that this is worth it. I would even pay $200 out of pocket for this because even though it does have tubes and wires, I love the fact that it's just sitting flush. And you are able to tilt this whatever direction you need, you know, however your breast naturally falls in your bra, you're able to tilt it to kind of lead the wire in the direction that you need it to. That way it's the most discreet as possible. I don't know. I just really like the design of this. I had my hesitations, but I was actually thoroughly impressed with it because there's no leaking, no issues. The fact that it felt amazing, given that it's just a tiny little pump, it does a great job. So I would highly recommend it. If you're looking at it and you need a wearable pump, you feel like it would help you be more productive when it comes to getting your pump sessions in, I would 10 out of 10 recommend it, especially because it's a more budget-friendly option than the ones that are also tube-free as well. However, I feel like the tubes are so discreet on here that it's probably your next best. If you can't afford those tube-free models, then something like this would definitely be worth the money, worth checking with your insurance to see if it could be covered, and I hope that a lot of people try this out. I feel like a lot of people are going to be happy with this pump, and it definitely kind of blew me away. Wasn't expecting as much as it gave, that's for sure. But yeah, that is everything for this review. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and as always, thanks for watching.